Good morning, guys. It's good to have you in class this morning. So excited that we're having creative writing this morning. And I hope we haven't forgotten that creative writing means to put words together in sentences and put sentences together to make something worthwhile that someone who is going to be reading is going to find it quite interesting. Creative writing is not copy. It's not about copying someone else's work and putting down. Rather, creative writing is putting down your thoughts on paper, just like an author would. Okay? Now, this morning's challenge is we're going to be writing on the problems of young people. Now, problems of young people is an interesting topic. And this kind of creative writing is an expository writing. Okay, expository writing simply means that we are writing based on information that we have gathered from investigation. So we have to investigate an idea or the topic and then talk about it. In order to effectively do this, it is important that we ask a lot of questions, that we gather information on the topic, that we think deeply about the topic, about its advantages, disadvantages, consequences, or whatever problems that is associated with the topic, and then put it down. And then we are putting it down in such a way that the reader of what you have written will find it quite informative and quite interesting. So like I said, today our topic is problems of young people. By the time we are done with this brief discussion, you should be able to write your own. You should be able to write on your own on the topic. You should be able to write creatively on the topic. Now, there are so many problems of young people. Young people all over the world face a lot of challenges, face a lot of problems, and depending on where they live, the challenges may be different. For example, some young people who are black in some parts of Europe and in some parts of America will be facing challenges of racism. But here in Nigeria, we don't have problems of racism. We could have problems of tribalism. But if you live in a state like Lagos, you won't have that kind of problem. Maybe if you are an Igbo person in the north, you could find that as a challenge, okay? But to a large extent, we don't have such problems in Lagos and in Nigeria as well. Okay, so I've put down some guidelines here. And remember I said at the beginning that expository writing, which this topic falls under, is one that requires investigation. So I did a little investigation and I put this down. All the answers or everything you can write about the topic doesn't end here. You can still, just like a journalist does, you can ask your parents, you can ask your pastor, you can ask people around you what they think about the topic. You put it down and you scribble your notes, and then you come and put your thoughts together. So the first point I have here is lack of courtesy. You know, a lot of adults complain that children don't greet, young people don't greet, they are disrespectful, okay? So this is a problem. I see it as a problem. And sometimes we enter into our parents' room without knocking. Sometimes we don't use magic words like please excuse me and thank you. It doesn't stop there. There are so many things that fall under lack of courtesy. Can you think about them? Write them down in your draft as well. Now the second dimension here is lack of manners. Lack of manners include noise making in the class, noise making when parents are on phone calls, leaving the class or leaving the house without permission, taking something that does not belong to you without permission. So lack of manners is a real problem that is plaguing, okay, that is affecting young people. There are some others like distraction. A lot of young people get distracted, distracted by friends, distracted by thoughts, distracted by expectations. Some get distracted by social media, YouTube. When you are supposed to be on Edmodo and you decide to go to YouTube, that's distraction, and it's a problem because it will make you lose time and you will not be able to achieve what you want to achieve in that time. If something else takes your mind off what you should achieve, then it means you are distracted and you are losing something because of the pleasure of distraction. So it's a problem. Now, bullying is a problem young people face all over the world. Whether you're in Nigeria or you're in America, young people face bullying in school. Some people are bullied in families. And some people are bullied on the streets. We now hear of street cultism and, all that. So this is a problem. And it's a problem because when young people are bullied, sometimes they don't want to come to school because of bullying. They don't want to talk about it. But we encourage always that if you're going through bullying, you should be able to talk about it, okay? You should be able to let an adult know so that an adult can intervene. So you write about bullying and say why it is a problem. Why do you think it's a problem? Now, another point is technological challenges. The internet is there, social media is there. Though that these things bring distraction, but beyond distraction, during the lockdown, you were forced to start to learn how to use Edmodo. You were forced to start making PowerPoint presentations and doing a lot of that. Young people in this generation, this is called the Z generation, you were born into an era of technology, the era of the internet. And so the pressure that this technology puts on you is a problem. The problem that it puts, the challenges, okay, sometimes make you uncomfortable. And sometimes when you now become comfortable with it, it tends to be a distraction. Okay, so that's a point. Another one is friendship and social isolation. Sometimes we feel, some young people feel withdrawn and they are not able to interact with their peers because they feel that they are not good enough, they are not fat enough, they are not slim enough. They just are not happy about themselves. So in order to fit in, they either isolate themselves or they start to do what they are not supposed to do. I want to be like my friends. So some people will now want to force their parents to buy the things that their friends have because they want to be like their friends, which is not right. It is not good. You should be content with what you have. So this is a problem. When people are pressured by friendship, it is a problem. Now, family expectations. There are some young people that are born into families where the mother is a doctor, the father is a doctor or a lawyer or whatever profession it is, and then the parents want that child or that young person to become a doctor like them, and the child is not interested in that profession. So they keep putting pressure on the child to become what he is not naturally gifted for. That is a problem because while the child is unhappy, that young person becomes unhappy. That young person is not also able to perform as much as he would if he was doing something that he liked. So it's a problem for young people, okay? Then drug abuse. Talk about drug abuse. There's sometimes some children like to overdose, young people like to overdose on drugs. Drugs like your medication. Some people that have multivite, take for example. Multivite is sweet. And then you now go and start drinking more than you're supposed to drink because it's sweet. Okay? That's drug abuse. Taking medicine that you're not supposed to take, when you're not supposed to take it or how you're not supposed to take it. Or sometimes you have medicine that you should take appropriately, but you won't take it because it's bitter. That is part of drug abuse, apart from those that now get involved in other drugs that cause them to lose sense of who they are at a particular time or lose sense of what they should be doing at a particular time. Okay, so these are some guidelines that I've put down for you. I want you to think about them. I want you to make your first draft on your own. Make your first draft. Ask your parents, ask your uncles, ask people who are a little older than you but are still young. Ask for their challenges. Ask them about these topics that I've raised. Discuss it with them. And then I want you to write creatively on the topic, problems of young people. Okay? I expect that you should be able to give me not less than 6 paragraphs. Not less than 6 paragraphs. When you write about a problem, okay? When you write about what you think is a problem, you could also say what you think could change this. Also talk about why it is a problem. Okay? Talk about, expose it. Why do you think it's a problem? How does it affect the young people? What are the consequences of these things to young people? Okay? And then you go ahead and write creatively on the topic. problems of young people. If you have any question, please type it on Edmodo. Ask me questions. If you want to discuss any of the points that have been raised, please type it on Edmodo. Okay? Have a beautiful day, everyone. See you on Edmodo.